What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, Michael or Legacy Kill HD here, and today we are looking at some of the unknown upcoming open world games of 2017. A lot of these games you may have not heard of, but some of these titles may end up being some of the best video games coming out next year. And if you go on to enjoy the video, make sure to smack that like button. Also comment, let me know what upcoming open world game you're looking forward to the most in 2017 and why. Nonetheless, let's get started here at the number 7 spot with Scorn. It's an atmospheric first-person horror adventure video game currently in development by EBB Software Studio. It's set within a nightmarish universe of odd forms and somber tapestry, and it's designed around the idea of being thrown into the world. Isolated and lost inside this dreamlike world, you will explore different, interconnected regions in a non-linear fashion. Scorn takes place in an open-ended world with different, interconnected regions. Each region has a maze-like structure with various rooms and paths to discover. And for a greater immersion into the world, there is no heads-up display to assist the player. Everything is implied and indicated through the environmental design. And it's also said that the inventory and ammo management will be defined and limited. It plays a bigger role in keeping the player in an even greater state of awareness throughout the whole game. Players will have to think about when to fight and when to take cover and how their actions affect the world around them. Now, I really don't know what to expect from this game. There's so much mystery about it, but it's so weird and creepy that it makes me intrigued by it. That's why discovering who these creatures are around us and figuring out why they're after us and what exactly is happening will probably be the most interesting part about this. Now, at the number 6 spot, we have Nier Automata. It's a third-person RPG developed by Platinum Games and published by Square Enix. It's set in the midst of a proxy war between machines created by otherworldly invaders and the remnants of humanity. The story follows the battles of Combat Android 2B, her companion 9S, and the obsolete prototype A2. While stated to be a high-action game, the developers have said that it will likely retain the role-playing elements of the original Nier. It is planned to retain the previous game's mixture of gameplay styles. Gameplay is generally focused around melee weapons, but some shooting elements are also planned. Now, admittedly, I've never been too crazy about the Japanese RPG genre, but Nier seems to be an exception, as I did play the original game and I definitely feel like it had quite a few flaws, but it seems to be that Platinum Games have picked up upon all of that, and it seems to be that they've improved upon it in this next installment. And overall, it just seems like Sony cannot stop delivering amazing games, and this may just be one of the best games coming out next year. But now to the number 5 spot, we have Conan Exiles. It's an open world survival game being developed by Funcom Games. The premise of it is that you're an exile, one of thousands cast to fend for themselves in a barbaric wasteland swept by terrible sandstorms and besieged on every side by enemies. Here you must fight to survive, build, and dominate. Journey through a vast, seamless world filled with the ruins of ancient civilizations and uncover its dark history and buried secrets as you seek to conquer and dominate the exiled lands yourself. This game quite possibly may be one of the biggest games coming out in 2017. There just seems to be so much you can do. You can build your own civilization up, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of adventuring, figuring out the ancient civilizations that surround this open world, and not to mention the player versus player interactions that we're going to have. I mean, imagine summoning a god who has the power to destroy your enemy's civilization. But nonetheless, this game is single player and multiplayer, and it will be coming out for Xbox One shortly after its PC release, and quite possibly this may be one of the biggest surprise games coming out in 2017. Now at the number 4 spot, we have Project White. It's an open world Viking RPG being developed by The Outsiders, which is a small team led by ex-Battlefield and Payday developers. The game tells its story through the viewpoint of a creature rather than that of its Viking-esque warriors. This game will be taking in a diverse range of influences. Project White is inspired by monster movies, surrealist poetry, heavy metal album covers, and many other sources that fascinate the studio's team. But the main inspiration comes from John Gardner's Grendel, which tells the Beowulf epic but written from the point of view of the monster. As you can gather, not much has been released about this game so far, but it will be releasing sometime in 2017, and the developers are aiming to make a huge experience. It's not just killing humans, it looks to be much more than that, making the role-playing experience something different than a lot of the RPGs that we've seen so far. Now to the number 3 spot, we have Chronicles of Illyria. It's an MMORPG being developed by Soulbound Studios. It's said to be the first MMORPG where your character ages and dies, encouraging you to think beyond your character to the role in a larger story. It features a closed economy, finite resources, non-repeatable quests, and a fully destructible environment, meaning the world is experienced differently for every character. And this game will be taking place in an epic 10-year storyline, inviting you to experience your character over multiple lifetimes. With each life, you will develop your character and make your own mark in the Chronicles. When your character eventually dies, their soul will be reincarnated stronger than before, and their spirit and destiny will live on in another character of your making. As customization goes in this game, your character is created as part of a family, and thus is bound by the laws of genetics for that family. And with dozens of skills across multiple categories, including fighting, gathering, crafting, survival, bardic, and deviant, you can develop the character you've always wanted to. And you can also be a part of a player-ran family. family, inheriting titles, riches, and character traits from your parents and ancestors. But that is just the ground floor of this game. There is so much more to it. The developers are planning to make a huge experience. That's why you should keep this game on your radar in 2017. Now at the number 2 spot, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's a role-playing video game developed by Warhorse Studios. It's going to be a single-player experience with branching questlines and a highly interactive world encouraging emergent gameplay. It will feature period-accurate armor and clothing, combat techniques, and real-world castles recreated with the assistance of architects and historians. It is set in the medieval kingdom of Bohemia, an imperial state of the Holy Roman Empire, with a focus on historically accurate and realistic content. The story will be following the son of a blacksmith whose family has been killed by the invading army. The protagonist seeks and will ultimately strive to restore the rightful ruler to the throne in order to the land. And quests within the game are intended to be open-ended with multiple ways to complete objectives to allow multiple character types to be viable. From the gameplay that we have seen, it looks so far impressive. I love that the developers are going with a medieval genre without the fantasy element. There are some needed improvements such as the voice acting and some of the gameplay elements that we have seen in the alpha version, but I'm sure that's stuff that will be sorted out. They did delay the game till 2017. That probably is just to make sure the game is polished up and ready to go, and for us to experience an amazing story. But now at the number 1 spot, we have Escape from Tarkov. It's an open-world tactical first-person shooter video game being developed by Battlestate Games. The plot of this upcoming game reads as so. With each passing day, the situation in Norvinsk region grows more and more complicated. Incessant warfare in Tarkov has sparked massive panic. The local population has fled the city, but those who stayed are looking to improve their fortunes at the expense of others. Having accepted the new reality, savage Tarkov locals, scavs, flocked into well-armed gangs and started the redivision of the city. Nowadays, Tarkov is separated by unseen borders controlled by different groups. Gain-greedy gunmen would go to any length to have their own way, including the murder of civilians in direct confrontation with the 2 private military companies. And our player will have to experience living in the skin of one of the mercenaries who survived the initial stage of the Tarkov conflict. After choosing one of the sides, USEC or Bear, then the player's character will start to make his way out of the city. Tarkov is sealed off by UN and Russian military, supply chains are cut, communication with operational command is lost, and in these conditions everyone has to make his own choices of what to do and how to get out of the chaos-ridden city. And it has been noted by many gaming journalists that the gameplay within this title is very similar to Stalker and DayZ, and there has been some indication that we could be getting a console release sometime in the near future, but this definitely appears to be one of the biggest player versus player games coming out in 2017. But anyway, I want to thank you so much for watching. Make sure to smack that like button if you did enjoy the video or found any informative value. Also drop down in the comments, let me know what upcoming open world game you're looking forward to the most in 2017 and why. And if you've missed any of the past open world upcoming games, make sure you check out the playlist in the description, and also consider subscribing for a lot more videos like this, and I'll see you later.